What is up, people? Welcome to the Joe McFo Show. My name is Jordan. Today, we are going to get working on my character design for my comic, Shadowboxers: The Path of Light. So let's get some music going and we will get started. So, before I get too far into this, I want to say that I've been feeling a little under the weather. So, my voice might sound a little bit different, or I might cough or sneeze or something like that during the stream. I'm gonna try and keep it over here so y'all don't get infected by the grossness. But I just want to let y'all know that in case I have to take extra pauses or something like that. But without going on too far, I wanted to show you guys just a little bit of progress that I have been making. So this is on the left, the character design for Javen from 2024. And this I did this in 2020, and I it took me years to do the full turnaround for some reason. But I just feel so much better about the new design. This one, if he feels so much boxier, and like I didn't see some of these mistakes that I made. So I'm liking this one now, where it feels more slim. I got a couple changes made to his face, like he's got a little sleeker appearance. I've also decided to color the lines where it's glowing. I never thought to do it before for some reason, but yeah, I actually think I'm gonna keep that look because it feels so much better to me. It's gonna take more work to color it during the comic uh, or in the comic making process, but it's one of those things that I think is worth it. So yeah, but let's see who's in the chat. Kathy says, "Woohoo! Yes, the color lines. Thank you for your support. For you guys who are watching, say what's up in the chat. Tell me where you're watching from. You guys have a good day. Um, all that good stuff. And by the way, just so we can do a quick recap before I get to the character design, just remind you guys what we worked on last week. We did some work on this page on the right, specifically this panel in the lower left here, where Javen's saying hi to his friends. He jumps in and surprises them, and then they have a little chat. So that's what we just did, and now we're taking a little break from the comic just to do some turnaround stuff. And I finally figured out what the issue was. I think I mentioned to you guys that I was working on the turnaround, but something happened to the file, or maybe I said that after, like some other time. But it turns out I was working from a PSD file because that was the original uh, mode I was working in, and I forgot that Clip Studio has a whole different system. So I changed it to a Clip Studio file, and now we're all set. So we have this turnaround right now for Javen. We're going to work on probably the side view. That's probably the simplest one. I feel confident about getting that one done pretty quickly, or at least a majority of it done. And then if we have more time, then I'll move on to this. So I'll just walk you through my process for doing this version that you see here on the screen. First, let me back up a little bit. So I initially had this sketch, the nude rough, right, just to kind of get an understanding of his volumes, his forms, and everything. And also because when I'm storyboarding or when I'm doing the drawings in the pencil stage, I always draw the nude form first, and I put the clothes on top. It's just much easier to do it that way. Manette is on. What's up, Manette? Thank you for popping in. So then after that, I did the clothing right here in the sketch layer. And then I actually adjusted the clothes from this to this. It's really subtle, but there's just a couple of key differences. You can see it primarily right here, where I bring the jacket in a little bit at the waist area. I also changed up the way the wrinkles on the jacket look. Instead of having it just be these shapes that are pretty much equidistant, like you see one large shape here and you see three small shapes, I changed it so it's a medium here, a large here, and then two small ones. So that I think is great for shape variety. So I wanted to continue with that. Plus, this is actually the most difficult part of Javen's design is the sleeves. I always mess that up. So I really wanted to hammer down something. And then what I did is I inked the nude form right here, which is going to be the first step in doing the turnaround for this next stage. And then later on, I inked the upper body and I inked the lower body on a separate layer, so you can see that's how it looks without Javen. And then later on, I just merged everything, made it look all nice. Oh yeah, I added a eye highlight for him too. You guys can see that. It's got highlights in his eyes. And then add the color, which is the same as what you guys have seen all the time. And then the last step was I added those color lines. You can really see how much that impacts how his clothes look just by getting rid of those black lines. So there might be a time when it's necessary to use the black lines, like if he's far away or something. But for now, this is what I'm going to go with, and I really like it. So let's move on to this one. I'm also going to turn on my onion skin. Onion skin, for those who do not know, is a term in animation basically meant to show what happens when you turn on the light table. So old school 2D animation, you use a light table to see through the paper, and you could see like multiple drawings at the same time. And digital software, it's called onion skinning. And so now I'm going to use this technique for drawing Javen here. You kind of see faintly. It's actually not strong enough. Let me edit this again. Got to turn up that opacity a bit. Yeah, there we go. And then let me turn off the colors because I think that's going to be a little confusing. Here we go. So yeah, the purpose of this is so that I can have a different view of like his eyes and his eyebrows and stuff, so I can make sure that I'm sticking to like I make sure it's proportional and that it's even on all sides. I don't want his eyebrow to suddenly be this high in the next drawing versus this one. So yeah. By the way, guys, let me know if you can hear me properly. I want to make sure the music's not too loud. I always get a little confused where to put it at. So you guys just let me know. All right, so we got the sketch here. So I'm going to remove the clothing layer. And then I'm going to go for the ink nude for this one. Now, the other thing about the front pose I was able to do is I was able to duplicate or use a symmetrical ruler on both sides. I cannot do that for this one because it's not symmetrical anymore. So everything I'm going to draw here is just going to be old school drawing. So that's how we're going to do it today. And I think I finally found an ink pen that I really like. I've had it, but I've had this for a while, but I've never really used it. Some of the other ones, like the what do you call it? The Real G Pen or the G Pen, they're like, they look great for like anime and stuff, but for some reason for me, it kind of I don't know, it feels too stiff in a sense. Like I feel stuck when I'm working in it. This feels much more like a sketch brush, which is my strength. I'm more of a sketcher per se, not the shoe brand, but you know, I like sketching. So having that feeling is really, really nice. All right, so now I got to make sure that this chin is going to the right place. Who else wants a cat report? Well, I don't know where the cat's. Well, Hina's on the printer. She's sitting on the printer right now. She was over here. She was in the chair, but yeah, I cannot force her to do anything. But who knows? We're only 10 minutes into the stream. We still got an hour and 50 left, assuming that I don't like keel over from being sick or something like that. So, assuming that I can run this for the regular amount of time, we still have a chance for one of the cats to pop up. Can't be tamed. Yeah, they cannot be tamed. Okay. So I'm just going to turn off this layer for just a moment so I can focus here. Getting Javen's eyebrows. Super important. All right. And truthfully, this uh this drawing is mostly just for my reference. I don't know why, but I like things being precise when it comes to the way I draw stuff. And it helps me to kind of have an idea of how to draw this character. Some people don't need turnarounds when they're working on big projects, or at least not one as detailed as me. And I've done at least a few versions of turnarounds for my characters, and I'm like, oh, I want to update them all now. So, these characters have many different phases, but that's part of the process, right? It's part of the process. Actually, I don't know why I'm working on the small screen. Let's do this. There we go. Move it over to the side. I'm focusing on like this one little section of my screen. I'm like, I have a whole 24-inch Cintiq here. Let's use all the space. All right, so the ear is just above that line here. You see, I made all these little small horizontal lines to kind of map out exactly where certain parts of the ear go. Like this right here, it's going to line up to be something like that. And that goes here. And occasionally I'm going to have to zoom out and, double check things. Because doing turnarounds are tough, I don't know if anyone's ever done one who's currently watching, but they're pretty tricky. So many details to look after. All right, let's see. Let's turn this off again. I probably should have made some marks for where Javen's hair is. I believe that's good for the top. Going to draw through my shapes here. I know realistically I'm going to erase some of it, but for now I think it's going to work. Let's just pull some of this back a bit. I have a particular special ruler setup for that. For which one? For the small horizontal lines? I gotta know which tricks you're talking about. Because Megan, I know you're the queen of the Clip Studio tricks. For drawing horizontal lines, yes, it's a special parallel ruler set to a single layer. Oh, okay. You might have to do a screenshot in Discord. That might be your next task. Please and thank you. All right. It's not a hydration check, but I do need to hydrate. Since Megan got on me about doing cheap ones, but I'm sick, so I just need to drink water. So, all right, let's get the rest of this. turn off that front layer. Let's just check on our boy. Okay, I think I drew the line a little too thick over here. All right, let's see. It's also interesting seeing the subtle changes that I've made to the characters over time, just to make them easier to draw. Like one of the things that I noticed, if you look at this version of the turnaround, his hair at the back here, it went at like this arc and it pointed in the back. And I don't know why I made that decision. I certainly am not going to do that again. It's just going to make things more complicated. And I don't want to have all these details that I feel pressured to remember. That's one of those things that is not a big deal. I think I was trying to add lots of triangles on him, but realistically, I don't think I need all that. So we're just going to leave that out. Get that little cut in his hair, a little lightning bolt shape. Part, that's the word I was looking for. It's a part in his hair. Took me a second, y'all. I blame the sickness. I'm just gonna, every time I do something wrong today, that's just what I'm gonna do. I'm blame it on that. What's up, Orlando? I always find turnarounds so tedious, but for the portfolio, anything will be done. Yeah, they are pretty tedious. I'm not even doing this for a portfolio, to be honest with you. I've kind of, I mean, I know I should be more considerate about that, but right now I'd rather just try building out my own world rather than caring about other people's projects like that. And by other people, I just mean like other companies' projects. Especially because the industry is having such a rough time right now. It's like, you know what? This literally is probably the best time to try and create something myself. So it's like, why not just worry about my own thing? Let me do this again. Okay, so I'm not going to worry too much about what goes on behind. If that line's a little off, because I'm going to cover it up with his arm anyway. I put the file in the chat. Just copy the horizontal one over into your file. Thank you, Megan. I appreciate that. Locky Rap says, nah, facts. It's just tedious in general, especially for muscular characters, in my opinion. Yeah, I mean, that's just the nature of them. Whoa, that's not intended for that one to be there. Yeah, they're just going to be tedious in general. I mean, I've done so many turnarounds for my characters, and now I am like, okay, all of them are needing revisions, so I understand the tedious nature of it. But like you said, it's for the portfolio, it's for the growth, and that's the cool part. I do see growth in this design compared to how it was a few years ago, which I'm honestly super excited about. I mean, like, as an artist, seeing where you were a year or two ago and going like, you know what, I am in a totally different place now. I'm not even the same artist anymore. Like, that's really encouraging for me. So so yeah, I'm hyped about that. Guys, collarbone. Okay, and then I think what I'm going to need to do real quick, just as a reference point, I'm going to take the ink nude drawing from here, I'm gonna just put him off to the side. Don't worry, I duplicated the layer. Javen's fine. Yeah. So I just wanted to see how the muscles were lining up. Okay. And the nipple. Did you hear about the Adobe Animate stuff? I couldn't fathom all the shows about to be low-key demolished or heavily damaged by that. It's good they walked it back, but people got look into new programs just in case it happens again. Yes, I did hear about that. Yet they walked it back like Michael Jackson moonwalk. Nice. Yes, I did hear about that. That was crazy. I I don't know why they made that decision to decide to get rid of it in the first place. It seems like Adobe is just trying to make people hate them though. Like it's actually almost fascinating. It's like it's like this type of growth of decline in popularity, decline in respect for them needs to be studied. It is so fascinating to me to see how much they are willing to just destroy everything that they built up for, you know, whether it's, you know, forcing AI programs or AI features into their programs, or getting rid of Adobe Animate to quickly walk it back, which I think is probably because these animation studios were like in order for them to change their productions, it would cost them millions of dollars to do that. You know, and I don't think I watch a ton of shows that have Adobe Animate as a part of their structure. But I can only imagine that they called them and was like, hey, we need to figure something out. Oh, shoot. We have a cat sighting. Hold up. Let me get rid of this comment. You guys see Hina? Hina, what's up? Hi. We got a Hina sighting. I think we called a hydration check for cat sightings. So our first one of the night. Yeah, she's probably just gonna sit like that for like an hour. It's so fascinating to me now, being a cat owner. I just watch them sometimes. I'll be sitting watching a movie or something, and they stare at the wall for like 3 hours and do nothing. And I don't understand why. What is so fascinating about that? Lil Hina's talkative. She can be when other people are around. She is not. Yasha is very talkative, typically, but when she wants cuddles, oh, she turns into a different person. Or cat person. Anyway, all right, y'all saw Hina. She's very cute. I'm gonna go back to the drawing. Kathy says I love her little squeaks. Yeah, she squeaks a lot. Sometimes her squeaks are so high pitched that you can't even hear them. Like she'll open her mouth and you don't even know what's going on. Blocky Rap says, I hope Procreate Dreams starts ramping up some more. I see the potential, but they got a hard send it. I agree. I think that that they have a lot of potential, but it might just be I don't know if it's a hardware limitation or what, but I see them as the beacons of hope. Them and honestly Clip Studio Paint, but even they have had to backtrack one or two things, because I think a year or two ago, Megan might remember more precisely when, but I remember that Clip Studio Paint was like, yeah, we're gonna move to a subscription model, and they got so much backlash that, like Adobe, they're like the next day we're like, never mind, we're not doing this anymore. And so yeah, which I think was a good move, because it feels so invasive to just take all this money from artists who realistically don't have all that much money. Like, most artists are not rolling in dough like that. So I'm glad they did not participate in the predatory practices of Adobe. I appreciate that very much. I can never hate Procreate. I am the same. I don't understand why there is so much hate on Procreate. There's some people like it's too complicated. I'm like, what is complicated about it? Like I couldn't think of an easier app to use for beginners, honestly. But especially if you're talking about like Photoshop and Clip Studio Paint, like comparing it to that, this Procreate is like the easiest thing to use. Okay, let me take a look at this. So this one, gotta be careful about. It's like a slight curve. Complicated. There's 4 buttons. I agree, man. I agree. I don't know how people could complain about something like that, but you know, to each their own. I can understand who people don't like feeling the feeling of drawing on the iPad. I can understand that. There are some people who complain about the glass of the iPad being too glossy for the pencil. And I'm like, okay, well, you can get, you know, paper-like texture or something like that. But you know, it outside of that, I'm like, it's really not that hard to use. I know Clip Studio released a simple mode to follow suit. I'm going to try and learn it because I really like Clip Studio brushes, but it was so complex. Yeah, I like the fact that they made a simple mode, but I still have issues with Clip Studio on my iPad. I don't use it as much as I would like to because it's like the functionality feels very different to me. The gestures are a little unintuitive. For Procreate, the gestures are unintuitive. I don't know. I've never had an issue with it, really. Or if I have, then it didn't bother me enough to stick in my memory, which is possible too. Okay, so for these side view, or for these new drawings, I'm not going to do Javen's 10 toes or anything like that. I don't think that's really necessary. If there is a situation where I have to draw Javen's feet or something, then I will just draw feet. I don't foresee that happening anytime soon, though, so I'm not going to worry about it. Just give him the Superman foot. You know, all the superheroes, they have like that boot. So I'm just going to give Javen that, and we're going to call it a day. Like right swipe to select multiple layers. Slide left with 2 fingers to alpha log. Really, I actually kind of like those. It's hard to remember if you don't know, though. Definitely hard to remember if you're not familiar with it. Okay, let's see. This looks like this. Let's go like that. Close this. Okay. Not too bad. Now, one thing I gotta decide is what to do with the jaw area. I'm gonna look at one of my books here. I recommended this before, I believe, but I have this Masters of Anatomy book, and it's really, really helpful. I think they sell this as an ebook as well, but it's literally over 660 pages, and it's just got, I know my camera is bright, sorry, but it's just got all these action poses for hundreds and hundreds of pages. It's literally like 4 books in one. So really, really great reference for you guys. Here's the cover of it. This one is called Anatomy, Action, and Fighting Poses, in case you want to go check that out. But they have artists who do turnarounds in the book as well. So different artists. They have like Kim Jong-gi in here, Phil Barras is in here. They have who else? Sean Galloway, all these people in the industry who are really, really awesome. So I'm gonna go to the Phil Barasa page because, of course, and oh, here's Rad Seacrest who did Kipo in the Age of Wonder Beast. So yeah, I'm gonna check that out. I want to see how he does it. Okay, so it looks like it's really just this. Doesn't even worry about that. The neck just kind of goes up into the neck. Just like that. Okay, I'll clean that up in a second. I forgot to share the drawing, sorry. Let's see. I'm a messy guy, so all my layers are super random, and I feel like I only use bare essentials. I've never alpha locked in history. you know what? I use alpha lock all the time. I think it's super, super helpful. It's the same as pixel lock, honestly. I'm just saying they're not intuitive. The fact that you can't dock the layers is also obnoxious to me. Dock the layers? What does that mean? The only alpha that's locked is me. Oh my gosh. Bro, what kind of YouTube content are you watching? I want to see what your YouTube looks like. Your stuff is probably like white alpha males only sleep 14 minutes a day. That's probably the first thing on your YouTube, isn't it? Let's see. Let's do. This is not working. Let me clean this up a bit. Let me see. You guys see me looking over. I'm just staring at the book. It's a little too big to put like next to my keyboard. It's got to be behind me a little bit. Last I checked, you can't keep them visible when working. Wait, I'm so confused. I still know what dock the layers means. What does dock the layers? Someone explain that to me. Maybe I know it by a different term or something. All right, let's see. It's gonna soften up that jaw just a little bit. Javen's not as old as his dad or someone who would have a sharp jawline, so we're gonna keep it simple. Let's also make that more of a subtle. There we go. It's got a little bit of sternocleidomastoid popping out. Bring back old animation memes is my first video on the timeline. We really are going back to 2016. I've noticed that there have been videos popping up in my timeline from 9-10 years ago, and I don't know why. I guess YouTube is just making the rounds or something. I don't know why it makes me. It thinks I need to see stuff that's that outdated. And to be fair, some things aren't outdated. You know, realistically, like if it's a writing video or something, then yeah, it's still relevant. But yeah, some other things is, especially when it's talking about news related stuff, it's like I don't really care. All right, let's see. Well, I suppose usually that means not having the panel floating, i.e. dock to the side, but I mean being able to like pin to the side. Oh, okay. So I get what you're saying. Dock the layers. Yeah, that's true. You can do that with colors though. I do know that. Oh, snap. Amanda, what's up? news related stuff what I walk into. Nothing crazy, don't worry. Nothing to worry about. We were talking about old YouTube videos that have been popping up. Like I've been getting stuff from 9 or 10 years ago, and some of it, like news, is outdated. Times just suck right now, I guess. I've been going back and watching all the Rooster Teeth content I could find. So yeah, it's a challenging time in the world, but you know, it's been like that for a very long time. Like I can't think of a single year where in some way it wasn't challenging. At least in my lifetime, like everyone's always been like, "Oh, it's a tough year, but you're right. It feels like it's progressively getting worse. But I remember back in, you know, like 2010, people were like, "Oh, this is the worst it's ever been," and you know, we got past that, and now we look at 2010. It's like, man, I wish I could go back to that. So yeah, there's moments like that all across our timelines. All right, I think we got most of this down pretty well. I'm going to draw the arms now, and I'll do it in a different color to not confuse myself. I'll do it in blue. Let's see. So we're gonna have his arms do something like this. One thing that is also making this easier for me is I am intentionally drawing thicker lines. I think that was one of the mistakes that I made before, was I was always trying to do a really thin line and make it super clean and sharp. But it slowed my process down a lot, and it honestly didn't always make my art look better. Sometimes it did, but it feels rather limiting. So I want to try and change it up a little bit by not being afraid or worried to bring some thick lines into it, you know? All right, and then the elbow. The elbow is going to be super important. It's basically just on that 3 head line right here. Right? There's 3 heads. Yes, 3 heads. Rooster Teeth, what is that? Blogger App says Rooster Teeth was a gamer YouTube channel that's got popular off indie series like Red versus Blue and Ruby. They went under recently though. Oh, that's right. I do remember those guys. Okay. At least we weren't alive 65 million years ago. I hear those dinosaurs had it rough that year. I'm sure they would have. I'm sure they would have had it rough. Amanda says, love them thick lines, chunky dynamic lines for the win. Yeah. I like how you spelled thick lines, Amanda. It makes me chuckle a little bit. Now, the other thing, I don't want to have these lines intersect too much, or maybe not intersect, but overlap. Because the more you do that, the more muscular he's going to look. So Javen is a 15-year-old kid. So he's not going to have crazy muscle mass on him. He's going to, you know, I don't think he's lifting weights in the gym. He's doing parkour. I know that for sure. But, you know, I don't think he's necessarily doing all this stuff to warrant him having large muscles. So we're going to be careful about that. That's actually something I learned while working at DreamWorks. I was designing a character, and it was a female character, and she was supposed to be more fit. She was a cheerleader, but I drew the lines too much. Like I did the overlapping lines too much, like in the deltoid stuff. And they're like, "Can you make her look less buff?" And I was like, "What do you mean?" And it took me a while to realize that they were referring to some of those lines. So I just erased them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, this is much better." I was like, "Oh, okay." So that's the secret right there. That's the secret. YouTube flagged Amanda's comment. What in the world? Which comment? Wait, which comment?
Thick.
Thick? Oh my goodness. That's funny. That's funny. So when you said thick, you got us in trouble. What's crazy is just the spelling of it. What if it was a typo? Oh my gosh, I didn't know YouTube was like that. All right, guys, so don't say that word because we're gonna get in trouble. Goodness gracious. All right. We will not be adding that to the hydration checklist. YouTube's algo, and I took that personally. Yeah, they took it personally. I guess that word is mostly meant for like Instagram baddies or something like that. Maybe that's why. Because you just said it on the wrong platform. Maybe, you know what? I'll stream on Instagram one day. You try that again, and we'll see if Instagram flags you. We'll see if Instagram flags you or not. I should probably draw some of these fingers a little bit more precisely before inking them, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Okay, we got Meanwhile, they're letting all these companies run wildly inappropriate ads. Oh my gosh, don't even get me started. I don't even know what I can say about that. But yeah, these ads are really wild, especially the ones for AI stuff. Those ones are crazy. I see random household objects talking to me. I see some questionable looking stuff. I'm not even gonna go into it, but it terrifies me. It terrifies me. All right, I think the knuckle needs to go down a little bit. Let me see, can I? Ooh. Okay. I just need to check some of these lines I'm putting in. Because I'm a little high on some of these areas here. Link. So I already know what the consensus of the animation industry is. I have eyes, but what kind of project would you be most excited to work on that isn't your own? If you ever need a Q&A, I'll be asking the questions. You know what, man? Feel free to ask whatever questions you like, man. I honestly appreciate that because it keeps the conversation going. And I think for people who rewatch the stream, which I found is more than I would anticipate. There's a lot of people who rewatch the stream, and I don't want them to come under something boring where it's just me not talking. So ask all the questions. Are you using the ruler there, the one that I made? Oh no, I actually forgot about that till just now. I'm sorry. I just made this real quick. Don't be mad. Okay. What kind of project would you be most excited to work on? I would like to work on a superhero action show, for sure. Or something that takes place in Indiana Jones, Lara Croft type of world. I've always loved those adventure stories that take place in the jungle and you're searching for artifacts. And we also just binged all 3 Indiana Jones movies recently. Okay, maybe not binge, maybe that, but we watched them all. The original trilogy, at least. Kathy had never seen them before. And wait, Kathy, which was your favorite one of the 3? Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, and Last Crusade. What was your favorite?
It's gotta be 1 or 3.
Okay. It looks like the same thing. It's not complicated waiting for it. Jeez, Megan, you're bossy. All right. I'll use it. Give me a second. Hold on. All right, just downloaded it. Hold up. Okay. What am I looking at? Horizontal cyan. Okay, so how do I use these, Megan? Do I just copy and paste them over? Is that the goal? I'm saying I'm waiting for you to say the project. Oh, sorry, my bad. My bad. My favorite Indiana Jones is Lego Indiana Jones. I'm glad I said the right thing. Yeah, I'm the resident flag now. That's funny. The project you most want to work on. Oh, well, the most favorite show I would love to work on: Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, or Avatar, the whatever Seven Havens, I guess they're working on now, or the last Airbender movies, whatever they're doing. So that's 2 hydration checks. I had to give you guys some suspense. You can't just outright say the first thing, you know? The one that would get us some water. That's fine. I'm trying to think what other things I would like to work on. If they ever decide to go back to the DreamWorks Prince of Egypt days and work on something similar to that, I would love to do that. That would be really cool. That would be amazing. All right, let's see. Actually, I'd also like to work on something that's like Atlantis. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, I think that's a good list right there, right? Orlando, what's the next one? What's the next question you got? I forgot the hydration checks. X-Men 97 thoughts. Oh, I haven't even seen it. I'm sorry. I totally forgot. I think I'm actually going to need more water in a minute. Oh, thank you. Let's see. Yeah, I didn't see X-Men 97. All right, I can't exactly tell where the pinky knuckle is, but based on this, it's probably something like that. And then this. Let me do another one of these lines. Yeah, I probably should have done that one earlier. It's going to be some foreshortening on these, so. Something like that. Give me your biggest art pet peeves, whether it's academically, on social media, or whatever, things that people do that annoys you. Oh, that's a great question. Oh, Megan, you know this one. When people say push it, like push something more, I hate that because it doesn't mean anything until they describe it. I understand the sentiment. Usually they just mean to exaggerate something more, to exaggerate the shapes. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the word push per se. My issue is when people just say, "Oh, just push this more," and they leave it at that. So if someone were to say, or rather how I would present that if I were given the same advice. I'd be like, hey, you need to push these shapes more. I need you to exaggerate them. I need you to make it more this way or this way. That's how I would handle it. Amanda says, for me, it's asking me if whatever has been done is good. So if someone goes like, oh, is this good? Is that kind of what you mean, Amanda? Yeah. That's a pet peeve of mine for sure. What are some other ones? Yeah, that's honestly the biggest one, but I know there's others. Oh, I don't like when people do a fully realized illustration and be like, it's just a sketch. It's like, no, it's not. It's not a sketch at all. You could start with the sketch, and maybe some people are just that good. Some people are really that good. Like TV Choi, if she says it's a sketch, I believe her because she's just that good. I've seen her draw in person, and she's a monster when it comes to the pen. But yeah, most people when they say, "Oh, it's just a sketch," is really not a sketch. It's really not. I have no idea what good means. Yeah, fair enough. One of my pet peeves is when people praise AI art and then call actually good art AI. I see it all the time on Pinterest. Oh, that's a good one. That's a really good one. Yeah, that is really frustrating. I have heard people getting accused so much that they start filming the process and they've never had to do that before. Like you're almost forced to film the process to prove to people that you didn't use AI. All right, let's see. How's this looking? It's close. Let me rotate the hand the other way. Mallard says, am I late? No, man. A little bit. You're about an hour late, but come on in, bro. Appreciate you for hopping on. Blacky Rap says, or when people use their age as a metric to be admired. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah. When people go like, I'm just 19. I'm like, shut up. You shut up, man. That's not cool. Being self-taught. Yeah, no one is self-taught. No, there's not a single artist in 2026 who's purely self-taught. You've seen a post on Instagram or a YouTube video or read a book. You might not have gone to an institution to learn, but you are not self-taught. It's not like you created perspective. Like if you like that dude was probably self-taught. But whoever created the rules of Western perspective, the way we understand it, that dude was self-taught. But everybody else, no, not in today's day and age. I really don't think that's true. I actually would say, unless you're inventing something brand new that no one has ever seen before, you can't be self-taught in anything. Like everything's been done. Even if you learn to put together cars, like you didn't invent the car. That was whoever's on Henry Ford's team or whatever, like that was not just you. So yeah, that's a mess. I'm a 2-year-old. Here's some Leonardo da Vinci. Yeah, that's some madness right there. Some madness. All right, so we got the knuckles looking good. All right, I think the hand is pretty solid. I'm gonna do. Let's see, how do I do this? I think I'm gonna rotate this arm just a little bit because I don't like the tangent it's creating. Move that just a bit. There we go. Yeah, that works. Make it black. And then I'm going to erase what doesn't matter on the inside. Okay, it's going to be a little tangent here, it seems like, but let me see if I can fix that. Let's bring that in. Oop, wrong color. Not the wrong layer, wrong color. There's a difference. It's a difference, y'all. Let's just merge these layers. What do you think about the indie scene? I'd like to see a live stream of you reacting to a bunch of new stuff, especially Long Gone Gulch. I've never even heard of that. It's funny. I was actually talking to Kathy about doing a stream where I would react to stuff, whether it's like news, like I could watch a video or people go like, Adobe Animate is gone forever. I could do something like that. I mean, it says wrong layer, Kronk, but it's not the wrong layer. Wrong color, Kronk is probably closer to what it really is in my case. But the indie scene, I think it's exciting. Honestly, I have seen videos from people like Steven Silver. For those who don't know who Steven Silver is, he is the character designer behind Kim Possible and Danny Phantom. He's had 30 plus years of industry experience. Now he teaches at SCAD. He's like, the animation industry is so broken that I have to go teach now. And he's perfect for it, honestly. I'm actually very happy for him, and I'm glad that he can go and teach the next generation. But one of the things that he's saying now more than ever is the need to be entrepreneurs, the need to basically go out there and create your own stuff and create your own work and build your own path, which is both very scary, but it's also very liberating, because what it means is there's no one stopping you but yourself. And circumstances almost, I won't say that they will never matter, but they almost don't matter. You know, you can build something in your backyard shed with a buddy or two and get some funding for it and make something happen. So I think the people who are doing that are doing something really brave and really awesome. And I think it's going to be the format for excellence in the future. I really do. I don't think that things are going to be the way that they were as far as studios go. I think, and actually I was talking to an executive about this one time. We had a general's call, and she was telling me about the state of the industry and why things are getting picked up and stuff. And she was saying that she believes that in the future, these companies like Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, Disney, they will primarily be distribution companies, whereas the indie studios are going to be the ones who make the stuff and build their audience from scratch, and they're just going to need a platform to put it on. And these companies are going to come out and reach out to them and be like, hey, can we share some of the profits, and we'll give you a bigger audience. So like, I haven't seen The Amazing Digital Circus, but I know that their first season or first couple episodes is on Netflix. I think it's going to look just like that, where people are able to build their own stuff, and then people are like, hey, let me help you to get more stuff. Like, I think that's how it's just going to be from now on. Look at that, guys. We got a side view of Javen. Look at that. Yeah. I'm very happy about how this turned out. I'm going to add just a little bit of the shoulder right here, just for my own sanity. But yeah, that's looking pretty solid right there. So now I'm going to do the clothing on top. And let me check. I'll just have to check and make sure that everything looks all right. So let me put this Javen away, bring this one back. Let me get the clean line art. This is the one. Turn you off. There we go. All right, I might have to make a couple of adjustments to the clothes, but we'll see how this goes. Oh, I missed a lot of comments. Let's see. SCAB was one of the academies that I wanted to go to. Pretty much all my art friends are from there, and it'd be cool to be around people like mine, but I'm a brokey who eats ice on bread. Hey, man, sometimes you gotta eat ice on bread and syrup sandwiches. You know, sometimes that's how it is. Apparently SCAD's a really cool place. All the people I know who went there always talk about going back and visiting. I went to Georgia for a time and like walked around SCAD. I didn't go in the buildings. I think they were out. But it seemed like a really cool place. Savannah was very pretty. Speaking of reactions, how do you feel about the Michael Jackson movie? I work at the movie theater and I feel like it's going to break the office. I'm scared. I am so excited. If any of you guys know me, you guys know I'm like the biggest Michael Jackson fan ever. I think MJ was innocent. I think MJ is one of the greatest artists of all time. I don't think there's going to be an equal. Records aside, like his impact and his dedication to his craft is one of the most inspiring things for music and non-musicians. Like he's absolutely amazing. So I think the movie's going to be great. From what I've seen of Jafar, he is doing a great job playing his uncle, which has to be a tough role because he's literally the most famous person on the planet next to Jesus. Like in terms of popularity, it's Jesus and Michael Jackson. So that's got to be tons of pressure. And it's not like his career only spanned like 5 years or something. You're talking about a 45-year career. So I think they made the right call with having a relative of Michael Jackson play him. He already kind of looks like him. So, and I was actually mesmerized by what I saw in the trailer. So I think it's going to be awesome. I'm going to be going to the theater to sing it. Yeah, Kathy says, we are hyped. Yeah, that's exactly it. Studios today, Amanda says, studios today are like art academies from the past. New animators are the new impressionists. Yeah, I would agree with that. That makes sense. My friend Jasira asked me to go see MJ movie. I didn't even know it was coming out. I heard it's 3.5 hours long. They better pack that story with everything. Yeah, I would I would hope so. I know they had to like completely change the third act of the movie for what do you call it? Legal reasons. Like they were going to address all the accusations and things like that, but apparently they weren't allowed to legally. So they had to rewrite and reshoot everything. So that makes me a little nervous as to how the third act is going to be. But the guy who's writing the movie has some really big credits on his name. So I think it's probably going to be okay. I'm still going to go see it either way. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. When your uncle is more famous than Snow. Oh yeah, that's true. Did you guys see that video? There's a video of I guess like some native like African tribe or something like that, and they are shown footage of Snow, and they're like, "What's that?" And then they show a clip of Michael Jackson at a concert, and they're like, "Oh, we love Michael Jackson." And it's like, dude was more famous than Snow. Like, how do you get to be that big? You know, like that's freaking insane to me. Man, it says whoops, didn't mean to say his name. Oh, I'm not the judge of what you say, but I appreciate that. I appreciate the sensitivity. If you could go back and watch something for the first time, what would you watch? Ooh, the Smooth Criminal music video. Since we're talking about Michael Jackson, that was the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. It's like that right there. I can never get enough. The Smooth Criminal music video. I would also say both Spider-Verse movies for sure. Hydration check. Actually, okay, I think I need more water after this. There, Kathy's pouring water. Thank you. Let's see, what else? Yeah, all that stuff. And Joe Jackson literally looks like a werewolf in the trailer. He is definitely the villain. that guy's, whoever the actor is, I don't remember his name. He's going after that Oscar for sure. What is your favorite and least favorite Shadowboxer character? That's not a fair question. What do you mean favorite? You mean in terms of drawing, or in terms of like who they are as characters, like internally? Can you just be more specific? It's still not a fair question though. It's kind of cruel actually. Yeah. All right, let's get. And some of you guys are probably wondering why I drew the nude body first. It's because I need to have a mainframe for when I'm drawing them later. Like I need to know exactly how long the legs are and what their physique looks like under, and especially if they ever change clothes, which I'm sure they will. Like, um, I'm pretty sure Javen's not going to wear his jacket in every scene, you know. So I need to know what this stuff is like. So it's going to be really helpful for me when I'm, you know, drawing them out to have something that I can rely on. Who they are. Oh, okay. Who they are. I think Mashaka is probably my least favorite in terms of who he is. His philosophy is like literally the exact opposite of mine. My personal philosophies about life and everything. Mashaka. Let me see. Do I have it? Drawing of it. Well, hold on. Let me find an actual image of them so that you guys can get a point of reference. Yeah, okay, so Mashaka is the one on the far left here with his face covered. There we go. So yeah, his philosophy is very different from mine. And I like I mean, Javen's probably the easiest answer because he's the protagonist, and I've thought more about him as far as his story goes than anyone else. But if I didn't pick him, I would say probably Ishnu. I think is really funny to me. Like the ideas I have for him. Ishnu is, you know, this guy with the big old afro. Yeah, that's a great question though. But asking me that question is like asking me which kid is my favorite, you know? Like which of my children is my favorite. In a sense, they are all my kids because I am their father. So, yeah. Let me actually lower the opacity of this one right here. But yeah. My least favorite character to draw, though, I will say, right now is Aletha, only because she's so difficult to draw. I actually think I'm going to do some slight adjustments to her design so that I can draw her more consistently. Aletha is... for those who are new, is this character with the mask, and she looks real cool, and I love the way that she looks, but it's just complicated. So I'm gonna try and find some subtle ways to adjust that. And I've adjusted her design like 3 or 4 times already. So yeah, and Atana is also very difficult to draw too. What's crazy is I never feel the same amount of attachment. I think of my characters less as a dad and more as their supreme overlord, and I'm not afraid of killing them. Jeez, bro. Well, there's going to be sad moments in my story for sure. You know, the premise of Shadowboxers is literally about Javen trying to find his dad, you know. And there's going to be like the way that it happens is pretty horrific especially for a kid like him, you know? So that's not a spoiler. That's literally the first page of the website. So yeah. But it's significant, you know? As far as characters that are going to die, I have a couple in mind who may or may not, but I don't have a specific enough way for it to happen yet where I can say definitively this character will or this character will not die for all the characters. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. When you create your own characters, it's hard to put them in a situation where there's violence or peril. I was going to create a slasher, then I was like, someone has to die. Never mind. I'm going to stick to the cartoons. That's funny. I think I only would kill a character off if it thematically made sense. You know, if I felt like their story had nothing else to gain. You know, like Stranger Things in particular had this issue where they kept everybody alive, and a lot of people were bothered by that. And I think part of the reason is because at some point these characters just had nothing else to do. And it was very obvious. Like after season 2, what did Jonathan do? Like really? Even Joyce. Like I like Joyce as a character, but I'm like she didn't really do a whole lot. So I think in those moments it's really important to be aware of that stuff and say like, hey, if it fits the tone of the story, like in Stranger Things, it's like, you know what, why not just remove them? It actually would raise the stakes and it would show people how dangerous this world is, you know. So so yeah, I'm not opposed to killing characters off per se, but it has to be for the right reasons. It has to be thematically correct for me. So yeah. Like, dude, do you know how hyped I am to make characters people like just to break their hearts agonizingly? Bro, you sound kind of sadistic, man. That sounds kind of dark. But I do understand what you mean. Like having people care about your characters is a huge honor, honestly. Honestly, I feel that way when you guys pop onto my streams or support the store or the shop, you know, because I know that this comic isn't even out yet. Like we're working on it, but it's not even out yet. And you guys have taken your time to invest in this project with me, which I think is really cool. And maybe it's not necessarily financially, although I would appreciate it if you did. But you know, just your time and your support means a lot. So I totally understand what you mean by that. What are some Stranger Things characters you think should have died? Oh, good question. Okay, uh, I think Jonathan. I think Will could have died. I think he should have died with Vecna personally. Um, I think it would have made the most sense for him. L, I go back and forth on L, but I think that the reason she died in season 5, oh spoiler alert by the way, the reason I think she died was mostly because I think they went to repeat season 1 what they did, because at the end it felt very very similar. And I was like, oh okay, well thematically it might not work, but I understand what they're trying to do. But for me, the issue with her actually dying is that they spent the last 4 seasons 2, 3, and 4, and even 5, basically saying, I'm gonna mute y'all. Oh, sorry, sorry, man. Saying that she deserved to live. She gave her friends, and they gave them friends, and you know, relationships and all that, and then suddenly they're like, no more. So I think those are the key characters that I would have. I think it would have made sense, or Nancy and Jonathan in that room. But I think Nancy staying alive would have made sense. I think Mike's parents could have died. Honestly, like Ted Wheeler did nothing at all the entire series. He's a joke. And they didn't even explain how he survived that attack in episode 2 or 3. But yeah, sorry, Mallard. hopefully that didn't ruin your experience. If it makes you feel better though, I had Avengers Infinity War and Endgame spoiled for me, and they were both very devastating. So yeah. Would you kill Steve? Dustin trauma arc? Honestly, Steve's my favorite character. I think it would have made sense though if he did, because it purely because they set him up to in season 4. Like he was talking about, like, I was ready for that to happen, because he was talking about the little munchkins and being married to Nancy and all this stuff, and they didn't deliver, and then they did that fake out in season 5, and I was like, you know, at a certain point, it just feels when you do too many fake outs like that, it just loses all of its power. You know, like they did a fake out of 11, of Hopper, of Steve. You know, I'm sure there's other characters that I'm just missing right now. But when you do that too many times, it just becomes like whatever. You know, it's like who cares? And so yeah, it's kind of annoying to me. Steve's my favorite character too, but Eddie pretty much died in his stead. Yeah, I think that easily could have been Steve to do that. Easily could have been Steve. The only difference between Eddie and Steve is that Eddie was playing Dungeons and Dragons, really. I could totally see them like replacing him with that. There is one show where they actually did kill off a main character. It was a teen-driven show, like Stranger Things. By teen-driven, I mean like the audience. And they kill off a main character, and it's pretty shocking and significant. It's in the show Outer Banks. If you guys know that show, I don't talk about it much, but I do like it a lot. And in that show they do some pretty cool stuff. But yeah, they had a character death of one of the main crew, and I was like, oh, that's shocking. I won't say when or where for those who have not seen the show, but yeah, it's happened. Yeah, no more spoilers. My bad. Yeah, Mal, you're good. Here, I'm gonna send a message in the chat. Yeah. But yeah, if you're gonna kill off a character, I think there has to be a reason for it. I really do. I mean, if you just want to be brutal with it, I mean, you can, but that's kind of senseless to me. Mallard says, okay, I'm back. Yeah, sorry about that. Mallard, just out of curiosity, how far into Stranger Things have you watched? If at all. Maybe you haven't seen it at all. Let's see, how's it looking? Not too bad, not too shabby. Let's see. Okay, so that's the line right here. Ooh, that was perfect. Oh, that was a perfect line. I'm actually impressed with myself. None. I want to watch it though. Oh man, it's a solid show. It's a solid show. But for your own protection, I'm gonna just let you know I'm a huge fan of it, so I bring it up often. So just be prepared that I might say it's something else on the stream. There was this one anime a friend showed me years ago. In episode 1, all the characters they introduced died. I didn't feel like watching the rest of the show. That's pretty dark. What show was that? That is very dark. Okay, need to get these wrinkles correct for our boy here. Okay, let's start down here. then down here, let's see how I'm gonna do this. Oh no, I messed that line up already. This is what you have these lines for, guys. That's exactly what they're for. And I know exactly what his arm looks like. I can see the black line underneath. So it shouldn't be too difficult. It's just basically like follow the leader. Here was this line. Let me actually do another one of these here. That's the armpit. So this is the armpit right there. So I know I can't go too much past that. And then we got one more line. So it's gonna go. Oh, these sleeves. I might need to do this on a separate layer and block out the shapes. This might be a little too nuanced. Let me actually do that. I'm just gonna erase this for now. I'll make a new layer. And then I'm just in purple just to help myself out. Let's focus. Speaking of spoilers, I noticed a trend where directors are announcing sequels to movies that aren't even in theaters yet, like the Avatar and Scream franchise. It kills the stakes. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't even know about that. Avatar: Ash and Fire, a movie where nothing happens. I didn't even care for the first one. I saw it on an iPhone because my mom happened to find an iPhone in a cab one time, and it was like when they first came out, and there was no way to get the thing back to the person, so we just kept it. But the Avatar movie was on there, and I remember watching it, and I was like, "This is pretty basic." Like, I didn't really find it that interesting. To be fair, it could be because I was watching it on such a small screen. That is altogether possible, but I don't know. It seems like other people think that movie's rather basic too, so maybe it's not just me. Exactly, with at least 2 more films on the way. I think I saw something where James Cameron was like, if the movie fails, then I'm just going to cancel my plans for the next 2 movies. But they've made billions upon billions of dollars. I honestly don't know why they're making so much money. Like, which country is given Avatar that much money? Okay, how do I feel about this? Let's do. I just saw a blur just run past me. I'm pretty sure it was Hina. I'm low-key embarrassed to have watched the first Avatar multiple times. Don't be embarrassed. Don't be embarrassed. The first Avatar is meta. No shame on my part. It's not like, it's not even a shame thing. I'm not even saying like I don't even think it's worth shaming people about it. But it's just one of those movies that I never heard anyone like really discuss or talk about in conversation. You know, people talk about Star Wars, they talk about Stranger Things, they talk about you know, just certain other franchises, but I've never really heard anyone talk about Avatar in my circle. You know, James Cameron's Avatar specifically, obviously. So, yeah, I've just never seen it. Okay, does this make sense? That works. Does this work? Yep, that one works. This point is off. Only reason I'm even obsessing over it this much is because I know it's going to be rotated in the turnaround. Let's see. Let's see. I think I have to create like a way to determine which layers are what. Like that's going to be up. That's going down. It's going like this. Yeah, something like that. That feels about right. Feels like a good sleeve. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna turn that off for just a moment. I'm gonna check this pocket. Okay, now it's time to do the pocket. So the pocket starts. Let's actually, maybe this will help me. Yeah, that helps a little bit. There we go. All right, pocket's looking good. All right. All right, got the back of his jacket right here. Okay, I think we can delete this and this. We don't have to show that. All right, I'm going to ink the sleeves real quick. What is everyone's most rewatched movie? That's a good question. Um, Honestly, for me, it's probably like Back to the Future. Um, Mostly because when I was younger, like middle school, when I first saw it, it came on TV all the time, and I just knew the movie very, very well. Um, so Back to the Future Part One specifically, but I also love the other two. Hercules is also up there, Disney movie. Let's see, Prince of Egypt is definitely up there. I once had that movie memorized, like in college, because I actually hadn't seen that movie till I was like 19 or 20. Malik says probably Shrek 2. Oh, that's a fun one. I haven't seen that movie in years. Man, when did I last see Shrek 2? I might have been in high school or middle school last time I saw it. I believe I owned it. I owned it on DVD. Just thinking of some of these lines for the overlaps. Okay, I gotta go. See you next time, Joe McFo fam. All right, Megan, thanks for popping on. Appreciate you. All right. All right. Let's just erase some of this here. Move that here. Actually, I might have to take back what I said. I might need to change the angle of this curve right here just a little bit. Something like that. Kind of like this. And then get rid of that bit of the arm. That should work. For me, it's probably Emperor's New Groove followed by the verse of Spiders. Oh, that's a hydration check. Into, yeah, I've definitely seen that one more. I think just because the second one is a big time investment because it's 2.5 hours, I think. But man, we are huge Spidey fans in this house. Oh, that's another hydration. Another one. Okay, I'm gonna switch the camera to just the drawing for just a moment, guys. Okay, I'm back. I take care of something right quick. Okay, and then let's get just a little bit of the shoulder. And I think probably don't need that much. Do this. Okay. Now I can merge these layers. Let's look good. There we go. Yeah, that looks nice. That looks nice. Definitely gonna go back in here and sharpen up and thicken up a couple of these lines. It's not the same without my face. Oh, that's so sweet. I watched Across the Spider-Verse with bated breath just to get that to that cliffhanger. I was over it. Sorry, Jordan. That's funny. The cliffhanger made a lot of people upset. It really did. If they stick the landing on the third movie, though, it will probably go down in history as one of the greatest trilogies of all time. Like, there's very few trilogies where all three are like amazing. I think the first two are stellar, and I think in 15 years when people watch the series or binge the series, they're not going to mind that cliffhanger so much. Yeah, so much hydration today, but it's okay. I'm actually needing this based on my current condition. All right. We're doing pretty good with this. Doing pretty good. All right. Just got to do Javen's glove and his shoes. Let's see. We'll do the glove first. Actually, let's do this. Instead of drawing that line, I'm just going to do this. Work smarter, not harder. Yeah, that looks good. And then, let's see. I'm just going to trace over this. I mean, I drew it, so it's not cheating. All right, let's see. Probably switch the angle of this, or not the angle, the there we are. They said, psych, wait about 5 more years. Yeah, that is true. They did. Ooh, a little too large for that selection. But honestly, considering how good those first 2 movies are, I'm like, give them the time. Because first off, those animators just for the second movie were, keeling over a little bit too much. I think the report said over 100 animators quit in the production of the movie, which I think is terrible. Like the fact that the conditions for their working was so lackluster or piss poor, whatever you want to call it. just so that they can get the movie done. Like, why don't you guys plan better? Why don't you organize better? Clearly, like there has to be someone on that department who recognizes that they needed more time, but for whatever reason they didn't. So give them the time, in my opinion. Let them cook. Exactly, Kathy. Let them cook. Because every time they perform, they do their thing. They come out swinging. Do you create assets for accessories or items that you don't feel like drawing over? I thought it was lazy at first, but that's genius. I mean, it is laziness in some regard, but sometimes that's how you get the furthest. I don't have updated assets is the problem. So I'm gonna need to actually redo that later on. The animation studios use assets all the time. Yeah, I think it's smart. It's another way that you can term it is called kit bashing. They do that in games a lot. There's actually a company that I saw at Lightbox, and what was their name? GadgetBot. Yeah, you know, here I'll even show. I'll show some of their stuff. GadgetBot. So I went to see a talk with these guys, and they have their own studio. And there's one project or one IP that they have called Kydros, I believe. Or Kydro. Let me see. Kydro. So it's a game and a comic, and I believe they're working on animation. And what's so cool about it is that they are using all the same assets for all three, and they're building all three at the same time. So they're just constructing this IP. I guess, sorry, my internet's really slow, so it's not loading properly. But yeah, it's really, really cool. And it, yeah, there you go. There's some shots of the game. And it's all cel shaded and everything, which I personally really like. If Shadowboxes were ever a game, it would definitely be cel shaded. It would definitely have this look to it. Yeah, here's the comic right here. You can see it's like fully painted. But yeah, they're reusing all the same assets, which I think is brilliant. Christian, what's up, my man? How are you doing, buddy? How are you doing? Okay. Does that feel too flat? This might be a little flat for me. You know what? I think I might have overestimated this a little bit. So let me go and actually use the ruler. I'm good. Just got done with our visionaries meeting. What about you? Oh, cool. I'm doing okay. I'm a little sick, but on the mend, thankfully. And you know, just doing Shadowboxer stuff, man. I didn't realize you could still be a part of Visionaries after you graduated. That's cool. Ugh, this is still bothering me. It's because it's at an angle, I think. It's just throwing me off right now. Let me try this. So I really shouldn't be having this much difficulty doing this. low-key embarrassed. Oh, what's up, Chris? Thanks for hopping on. Okay, let's do a little bit of distorting. There we go. It feels a little bit better. And right now, for those who just popped in, we're working on our updated turnaround for Javen. So earlier on, I showed, where is it? Let me turn on the layers. Showed this, the new and improved version. This is what the turnaround front view used to look like over here. You can see he was real boxy and everything, but now he's sleeker, cooler, better, right? So now we're just doing the other angles, specifically working on the side view right now. Okay, I think this one is probably good now. All right, and then just gonna erase the middle section right here. Yeah, we have one or two people who are alumni in there. I'm still a student since I'm in the master's program. Oh, that's right. I forgot about that. The Discord is separate from the AAU one, kind of like Drawhawks was. Ah, okay. Gotcha. That's fresh, man. I would love to hear more about what you guys are doing in there. Because when I first heard about it, I only got like the loose pitch. Like I don't even think it had been launched yet, really. So yeah, it'd be cool to hear what you guys are up to. I know they did some restructuring too. What does the master's program look like for you? Because like if I remember correctly, the concept art major isn't even there anymore, right? It's just like game art. Is that it now? Still feels off. Let me see. The biggest issue is this right here. We still meeting, Jordan? Yes. We will still meet for a couple minutes after this. Just give me like 5 minutes. All right. I'm tired of working on that sleeve. It's bothering me right now, so I'm just gonna move on. Which is okay if that happens. Take it from me. There are moments where you're just like, yeah, this ain't working. One little trick whenever you're doing shoes, you always want to have the bottom of it kind of tip up like this. You look at any shoes you have, there's always a little bit of room at the toes. So you don't want to have it just flat. I've always been a game dev major, but they have different tracks. Like I'm concept art. I'm not sure how it's changed since you were there though. Yeah, well, I was the same. But I didn't know if concept art was still around. I thought it was like game art, not game dev anymore. Is Rob still the head of that department? Okay. So one thing about Javen, his shoes were always pretty bulky. So try and mimic that here as well. Rob went part-time. Brian is director now. Okay, gotcha. Let's see. All right. Shoes looking pretty good. Let's add that little triangle right here. And I don't know, these too thick. Some of it might be a little thick. All right. How does this feel? Okay, now it feels, now I'm looking at it from a different perspective. It's looking a little too bulky. So let's actually bring these shoes. I'm just going to do some warping on it. Yeah, that feels a little bit better. Might even have to lower it a little. Well, no, because this is in perspective. I think it's fine. We pivoted Visionaries last semester to make it more approachable for new members. We all have personal projects when we meet weekly and show our progress and give feedback. We've had some really solid work come out of it so far. Awesome, man. That sounds great. I'm happy for you guys. Happy to hear that. All right, we just got a few more minutes left. But I think we're actually at a pretty good stopping place. I probably need to take a break from looking at it, honestly. But before we all depart for the day, I did want to remind you guys that if you have not already, check out shadowboxers.com. there's several links in the description below where you can check it out, and you'll see all the cool stuff. The website's loading real slow right now because I think my internet's acting up. But when the images load up, then you check it out and you can read all this lore and cool stuff. You can also check out the Shadowboxer shop where you can get cool stuff like this beanie over here. Let me switch over here. Yeah, we got this Shadowboxer's beanie. I've been wearing it all the time since I've been sick and since I've been in the cold, because now I experience real winters. So super warm. And of course, we have the Shadowboxer's art book, which has a bunch of stuff from the live streams, a bunch of stuff for this project. There we go. And character designs, prop designs, vehicle designs, all that stuff in this book. You can get a digital copy or a physical copy, and I sign all the physical copies in case that's a little extra incentive for y'all. But yeah, this is what we covered today. So we did this partial turnaround of Javen. We got the front pose already done, and then we primarily worked on the side view. So I'm gonna see what I can do outside of the stream time. We'll see what we do on Sunday stream. And maybe we'll continue this if you guys want. Leave it in the comments below. Otherwise, I will see you Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Time for the next stream. Take care, everyone. Peace.